So guys, this is the Huawei P9, and to say it is an innovative smartphone would probably be the understatement of the year. Just before we start my full review, I'd like to say that if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you just smack that subscribe button. It would really help me out. Not only is there a ton more interesting content coming, but I'll be randomly giving away a whole bunch of Rock Zircon earphones, which are outstanding to you guys. So Huawei has been on a bit of a streak lately. With its P6, P7 and P8 smartphones, it's collected a whole scoop of awards, especially for the smartphone's cameras, and the P9 here is probably going to be no different, but more on that later. So the device has a beautiful exterior, it's built fully out of metal, and it's got a unibody design. Given its outstanding build, to be honest, it's actually very light and very thin, and all round feels like you're holding a device that you paid a lot for, which to be honest you kind of did. The standard P9 model comes in at €599, about £439, and that gets you 3GB of RAM and 32GB of internal storage. Now given that it's been 2 years since 2K panels on smartphones started to become a reality, the display seems like a bit of a strange choice. The P9 comes with a 5.2-inch 1080p IPS panel. And that's not to say it's bad, because actually it's a very good display. It's got a brightness of 500 nits, it's purely visible in broad daylight, and the colours and saturation are all really high. On top of that, it's kind on the battery, but it is just worth noting that this won't be as sharp as smartphones like the S7. Now not only does the P9 use the next generation level of fingerprint security, detecting fingerprint ridges as well as patterns, it's also extremely fast, basically instant. As a cherry on top, we've also got a notification LED. Now inside the box we have a USB Type-C cable, which is the type of connection it uses, and some earphones that look curiously familiar. They do actually sound quite good though. I'm really happy to say that the P9 runs Android 6.0, and as you would expect, it's a really fluid experience. The skin though is probably not going to be to everyone's taste. It is a little bit childish and playful for most people's liking. I personally would have preferred stock Android, but nonetheless it's not overbearing. You can customize your own way from here. So now we have the camera. And this is where the company claims the Huawei P9 is going to change the face of the smartphone market. You may know their #00 basically stands for the fact that there are 2 cameras on the rear of the device. Now this is not the first time we've seen this, we've seen it on the HTC One M8 for example, and it kind of works to a similar effect here. Huawei though takes it probably 5 steps further. You can now manually adjust the aperture anywhere from a range of f16 to f0.5. This allows you to get ridiculous levels of bokeh in your shots, even for objects that are rather far away. Now while if you do it subtly you can actually produce some really high quality images, it is also quite easy to overdo it and they can start to look a little bit artificial, like this one. What's really nice is that actually even after taking the photo you can readjust focus. And the camera also copes really well with strong lights in the background. It still retains all the details of the object you're actually taking the photo of. And even in middle light or low light, it's again really quite impressive. One of the best smartphone cameras I've ever seen and definitely the most innovative. In terms of video quality, we've got 1080p at 60 frames per second, and that's where the P9 tops out. There's no 4K here. While macro shots do look really impressive, just walking around and looking at objects that are slightly further away, it was more of an average performance. I was really impressed with the speaker. It's not something the company talks about, but it far surpasses most other phones. So another interesting area is the battery. It charges very quickly. Given 10 minutes of juice, it can actually provide 5 hours of talk time. And given its 3000 mAh capacity, you'd probably be expecting bang on 1 day's usage, but it can push quite a bit beyond that. You can expect to probably wake up the next morning with about 30%. So a lot of this is probably due to its efficient components, so let's get straight on to that. The Huawei P9 is powered by the Kirin 955 processor, which is the company's highest end processor to date. Now it's also got the Mali T880 GPU, which is not quite as powerful as its competitors, but this is still nonetheless a gaming beast. for those of you who know a little bit about processors, the Kirin 955 actually has 4 Cortex-A72 cores, which basically puts it on par with the Snapdragon 820. There's no games I could play, there's no UI switches or multitasking that would really give this phone even a hitch. It's very smooth and very fast. It's indistinguishable from the LG G5 from the Samsung Galaxy S7, as I suppose you'd come to expect at this price. On top of that, the smartphone also has a brand new method of storing files, which supposedly, according to the company at least, will prevent fragmentation and the phone slowing down over time, and also improve the responsiveness by 20%. As a finishing touch, the smartphone also has 3 antennas built into it, and the phone will automatically switch depending on which one has the most exposure. And to be honest, having tested it, the signal is really good. So there it is guys, that is the Huawei P9. Whilst it doesn't quite have the sharpest display, and it doesn't record the highest quality video of all smartphones out there, this is innovation at its finest. Huawei tried something new, and it really has worked. This is a special smartphone, which sticks to what definitely works, but also expands on it. And the Huawei P9 is a phone that I can definitely say is worth buying. Thanks for watching, I'm Mr. Who's the Boss, and this is Insanely Cool Tech.